World's Weirdest Animals, Birds, a Smart Kids Club publication. Contents at a glance. Introduction to the Animal Kingdom. We live on an amazing planet. Our Earth is full of incredible things. Some of these things are living and some are not. For example, a rock is not alive. How about a tree? And the bird sitting on its branch? Yes, these are both living things. Scientists divide living things into two groups called kingdoms. There is the plant kingdom and the animal kingdom. The animal kingdom is then divided into vertebrates, animals with backbones, and invertebrates, animals without backbones. Introduction to birds. There are about 10,000 different kinds of birds, from the tiny 2-inch bee hummingbird to the 9-foot-tall ostrich. But all birds have several things in common. First, they are vertebrates. They have strong but lightweight backbones. Birds have wings, and most birds are able to fly. They have feathers, a beak, or bill, but no teeth, and they make nests where they lay eggs. Some birds, like ducks and geese, can swim and fly. Birds are also very smart. Some bird species know how to make and use tools. Some birds migrate. Andean Cock of the Rock. You can probably guess where this bird lives, the Andes Mountains, but not too high. It lives in mountain forests at altitudes between 1,600 and 7,900 feet in Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Venezuela. Some people call it the national bird of Peru. Like more than half of all bird species, it is a passerine. It has 3 toes pointing forwards and 1 toe backwards. This helps it sit on tree branches. The Andean cock of the rock is a little weird because it has black and bright orange feathers, and it looks like it has a big bump on its head. Anhinga snakebird. The word anhinga means snakebird in an ancient language from Brazil. It is also known as a darter, American darter, secret crow, and water turkey. The anhinga is a water bird that lives in the warm areas of the Western Hemisphere, from the southern coast of North America through Central America and down into Brazil in South America. It's easy to see how it got its name. It spears fish with its long pointed beak, so it swims with most of its body underwater. Its long skinny neck looks like a snake ready to strike. Bird of paradise. There are about 40 different kinds of birds of paradise. They live mostly on New Guinea, the second largest island in the world after Greenland. Most species of this bird live in tropical rainforests and swamps, and almost all of them live alone high up in trees. They range in size from about 6 inches to 17 inches, and they like to eat fruit and insects. Birds of paradise are famous for their beautiful colors and long feathers. Some species have extra long feathers hanging from their beaks, heads, tails, or wings. Great frigate bird. The great frigate bird is a seabird that lives on islands in several tropical seas, including the Pacific Ocean and the Indian Ocean. It is a large bird, up to about 40 inches long and has a wingspan of up to 90 inches. As they fly across the ocean, they catch flying fish to eat. They have black feathers with a small amount of green. They have a small patch of skin at their throat without feathers. This is a sac. It is white on a female and red on a male. The male can blow air into this throat sac until it looks like a bright red balloon. Hoatzin. The Hoatzin bird is also known as the kanji pheasant or as a stink bird. Why stink bird? It looks like a nice bird. It is about the size of a pheasant and has pretty feathers in brown, black, and pale yellow. Its face is blue and it has purple eyes. So far, so good. It lives in the tropical forest and wetlands like swamps and mangroves of the Amazon River in South America. The Hoatzin is a noisy bird making croaks and grunts and hisses. But it gets its name, stinkbird, because it smells bad from the leaves and fruit that it eats. Kagu. Do you know where New Caledonia is? It is an archipelago of islands in the Pacific Ocean, about 750 miles east of the continent of Australia. The Kagu is also known as the Kagu, and it is endemic to New Caledonia. You can only see this bird on these islands, and you cannot see it anywhere else in the world. Its feathers are gray in color, and it has a bright red beak and legs. The Kagu is about 22 inches long and is nearly flightless. It is unique among all birds. It has nasal corns. These cover its nostrils when it is digging in the ground for food. Marabou stork. The Marabou stork is a large wading bird that lives in Africa, south of the Sahara Desert, in both wet and dry areas. It is a large bird. It can stand as tall as 5 feet and can weigh up to 20 pounds. And it ties with the Andean condor for the largest wingspan. It can be over 12 feet from the tip of one wing to the tip of its other wing. Its bill is also very long. It can be almost 14 inches long. The feathers are black on its back and white on its belly and neck. The Marabou stork has a mostly bald head. Potoo. Boo. Have you ever seen eyes like this before? It is also known as a poor me one because its song sounds like it is sad. Boo, boo, boo. A potoo lives in Central and South America. It is nocturnal. This means that it sleeps during the day and is active at night looking for insects to eat. During the day, it sits on a tree stump. It is camouflaged when it does this because it looks like part of the tree stump. It also closes its large eyes during the day, but it can still see movement. This is because it has unusual slits on its eyelids. Rhinoceros hornbill. The rhinoceros hornbill is a very large bird. At 4 feet long, it is about the size of a swan. It has a very long lifespan. It can live to be up to 90 years old. This unusual-looking bird lives in tropical rainforests in Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, on the Indonesian islands of Java and Sumatra, and on the island of Borneo, the third largest island in the world after New Guinea and Greenland. Its feathers are black and white, But that's not what we notice. It's the bird's beak. It's bright and has an extra piece at the top, kind of like the horn of a rhinoceros. Shoebill. Like Little Red Riding Hood said, "Wow, what a big nose you have, Grandmother." This bird is also known as a shoe-billed stork and a whalehead. Its name comes from its huge bill that is shaped like a shoe. This bill can be nearly 10 inches long. Its feathers are gray, and its big bill is light yellow. The shoebill lives in freshwater swamps in tropical areas in Central Africa. It is a big bird. It can be almost 5 feet tall and weigh almost 16 pounds. Its feet are big too. They can be over 7 inches long. Interesting facts. Birds are warm-blooded like us. Their bodies help keep them warm and cool, unlike cold-blooded animals like reptiles that have to rely on their surroundings, like the sun, to keep them warm. At just 2 inches long, the bee hummingbird is the smallest bird in the world. At 9 feet tall, the ostrich is the biggest bird in the world. It lays the biggest eggs of any bird, and it is the fastest running bird in the world. Hummingbirds can fly forwards and backwards. The most common kind of bird in the world is the chicken. Chickens are not very good at flying. The longest flight of a chicken ever recorded was only 13 seconds. Kiwis are birds from New Zealand that are flightless and endangered. About 20% of all bird species are migratory. An albatross can fly for hundreds of thousands of miles. The bones of birds are hollow. This helps to make their bones lightweight and helps them to fly. The bones of pigeons weigh less than their feathers. Homing pigeons are trained to return to their owners. For thousands of years, humans have used homing pigeons to deliver messages. A flamingo eats with its head upside down so that it can use its bill to scoop down into the mud to find food.